What is the most broken stat in BloodBorne? What's up, degenerates? It's your boy Stream Mind, and today we're asking the forbidden question. Why is vitality in BloodBorne so stupidly broken? That's right, we're throwing skill, strategy, and dignity out the window with this one. We're going full casual. The rules: I'm only allowed to level up vitality, so no strength, no skill, no arcane nonsense, only raw meat, just what the ladies like. No farming overpowered blood gems in the chalice dungeons, but yes, the cum dungeon is still legal because I too enjoy my cum. Before we start, like, subscribe, ring the bell, offer your firstborn, you know, the usual YouTube stuff. Now, let's jump straight into this vitality fueled fever dream. Meet Danny, a military veteran with a license to kill. The ladies. And he likes nothing more than resting on strangers' operating tables and let them do unspeakable things to him for money. With the colonoscopy finally over, I lit the lantern like a true champion of self-care. Moments later, I was immediately kidnapped and dragged into what I can only describe as a Scientology church. Apparently, I needed to calculate my stasis. I don't even know what that means, but Tom Cruise was there and he gave me a thumbs up, so I guess everything was alright. Anyway, I picked the saw cleaver because I heard it's optimal for aura farming, and got the hunter pistol, even though I don't know what good use can a gun have in London. I scooped up all the random blood shards just laying around central Yarnham. Then I changed into something more appropriate, except the hat, because you don't cover a face like this. That's a war crime. I had a quick chat with Best Girl, naturally, got to unlock that top tier gesture for maximum post-battle humiliation, accepted to find the little girl's father, and she gave me an iPod in exchange. I upgraded my saw cleaver to +2, feeling fancy, then started pumping my first points into vitality. Now it was time for the Cleric beast. Honestly, not much different than usual, except now, thanks to my freshly inflated health bar, I could afford to play a little bit more recklessly. Opened strong with a Molotov to his dumb face, just to let him know I'm not here for a respectful duel, and got a visceral out of it. At some point, he gently scooped me up the waist like we were about to slow dance, and then tried to blow me a kiss. I kindly refused his offer and I stayed on his left side, relentlessly hacking away at the arm he definitely uses for his own recreational activities, if you know what I mean. Threw another Molotov at his face, and I swear I heard his soul whisper, "Why would you do that to me?" A few more solid spanks and the beast finally went down. I cashed in my echoes for some good old vitality gains because this meat mountain isn't going to build itself. Then it was time to face the one, the only, Papa G. I kicked things off with a crispy parry. First phase, smooth sailing. Mans was practically posing for my combos. But the moment he whipped out his long, intimidating stick, everything changed. Suddenly, I was eating L's faster than iDubbbz has been lately. Thankfully, my bloated vitality bar meant I could just tank his nonsense like a sentient sandbag. Got another epic parry in, and by the time he actually got around to transforming, it didn't even matter. The fight was basically over. And with Papa G permanently grounded, I snagged the Blood Gem Hunter tool. Now that I had access to Cathedral Ward, I started hunting down more blood shards like a raccoon in a hardware store. Picked up a very stylish hat, so peak fashion souls could be achieved, and bought the key to open up the rest of the area. Then I sprinted headfirst into Hemwick Charnel Lane for twin shards. They also have zero respect for personal space, so watch out. I did in fact get the twin shards. I also took a few hammer kisses directly to the face, then turned a corner and got caught in what I can only describe as a spiritual gangbang. So I got fucked. I was finally ready to face the greatest boss of all time, and by greatest I obviously mean two elderly women hiding in the shadows and summoning help like they're some sort of Elden Ring casuals. The witches of Hemwick went down exactly as expected. Did I spend my insight to make it easier? Absolutely not. Not that it made much of a difference. One of them did manage to hit me with that AoE purple ring of death, which, to be fair, actually hurts. But thanks to my tanky vitality build, I basically shrugged it off like a gym bro ignoring his raging homosexuality. And yes, I am talking about you. A few more slaps, some light cardio, and boom, both witches got sent to the retirement realm. I got the Rune Workshop tool, warped out, and left the crypt smelling like regret and incense. I made my way to South London, or as some may call it, Old Yarnham, had a spicy little showdown with Jura. Naturally, I came out on top. And after that, I ran straight to everyone's favorite crackhead waifu, the blood-starved beast. To assert dominance, I opened the fight with a juicy visceral attack right to her ribcage, dropped a few bloodcocks to distract her like she was at an open bar, and zipped right into phase 2 with confidence. Then came phase 2. Turns out my poison resistance was hot garbage, like wet tissue in acid rain levels of bad. But thanks to my thick vitality build, I just stood there and tanked every single hit like a stubborn dad refusing to lay down his whiskey. Honestly, BloodBorne bosses don't even hit that hard. Even the DLC ones at BL4, you can still eat a few punches and walk it off like you just stubbed your toe. Anyways, after another pistol shot to the face, I sticked my fist up her ass and then finished her off. Next up was time to face Bear from the big blue house. I started the fight by throwing a couple of Molotovs to her face. I got hit on my face but took it like a Chad, and by using heavy attacks I was able to break her arms. Having this much health only meant I could play as recklessly as I could, focusing on damage. I stun locked her for a visceral, even got a nice hit on her ugly stupid face before finishing off the fight. I'm starting to think that this isn't much of a challenge but more of a bloodbath. As usual, I started touching things I absolutely wasn't supposed to, but hey, we're in a church, so technically that's tradition. Watched yet another cryptic, lore-drenched cutscene where nothing made sense and came out of it with exactly zero understanding of what's happening, and at this point, does anybody even care? Because we just unlocked the DLC. So I did what any rational person would do. I walked up to a giant cosmic monster and politely asked for a hug. Welcome to the Hunter's Nightmare, where everything is aggressive, on fire, or medically concerning. Scooped up all the goodies and upgraded my gear to +7. Then, for reasons even I don't fully understand, I peaced out and headed to the Forbidden Woods. Had a lovely chat with this fine gentleman, you know the type, polite, mysterious, probably dead. Then I headed back to the clinic to pick up the invitation to Cainhurst. Now, without access to high-level blood gems, my damage was, how do I put this, hot flaming ass. Which naturally led me to getting absolutely cooked in my first attempt against the shadows. Like I was Johnny Somali live streaming in the wrong country. Second attempt, much better. I popped a beast blood pellet before entering the boss room. By now, my health bar was a scrollable asset, and with the rally system working in my favor, I was basically a semi-immortal meat blender with father issues. Then, the katana guy got stuck in a corner, which made putting him down feel less like a fight and more like pest control. I repeated the same strategy with the fireball thrower, who also got himself cornered like a discount Pokemon NPC. And then there was Candlestick Boy. Once he was running solo, I hit him with the classic cheese loop of shame. Sent him running in circles like a confused fat mall cop until he eventually died of cardio. I needed more damage. Rom was up next, and she doesn't go down easily. So naturally, I hopped in a creepy Victorian taxi, fired up a quick round of BloodBorne card, and arrived in what can only be described as Siberia with 30 FPS. Started looting the place like I was on a Times supermarket sweep, grabbed all the chunks, scooped up whatever overpriced fashion gear I could find, and somewhere along the way, discovered Santa is real. He just hates you. Upgraded my weapon to +8 like a big boy, all while being silently judged by someone who looked suspiciously like Jeffrey Epstein in cosmic form. Then I liquidated my entire Cainhurst hoarding stash like a cursed antique dealer and poured everything into Vitality, getting it close to 50. Hope you brought your swimsuit because we're about to get wet. Let's take a second to talk about Vitality and why it's absolutely broken. With the rally system, the healing animation speed, and my absurdly inflated HP, I was practically immune to consequences. ROM spiders didn't care. Walked right through them like they were emotional baggage. And the best part, unlike Dark Souls 3, where Vigor falls off a cliff after 50 and starts giving you like 2 HP per level like it's doing you a favor, BloodBorne keeps the party going. You're still getting like 6 or 7 HP per level at 50+, which means you'll be walking around with nearly 2000 HP when you reach 99, literally turning yourself into a juggernaut. Now, with Yahar'gul unlocked, I sweep through the place collecting the rest of the chunks like a kid on Halloween, and even found some gems that didn't suck for once. Then I rolled into what I can only describe as a Scientology rally gone terribly wrong, and stomped the boss like I was collecting debt. No gimmicks, no memes, just raw, unapologetic meat man energy. Usually these challenge runs make you play with 2 HP and a wooden spoon, but here I was a walking fortress and didn't even need to pop a beast blood pellet to deal with the One Reborn. I arrived in the Nightmare of Mensis, walked in like I owned the place, found a fire gem and slapped it on my weapon just for shits and giggles, effectively reducing my already mediocre damage into a hot butter knife experience. Did I care? Absolutely not. And then he showed up. Everyone's favorite marathon runner, the man, the myth, Micolash. Looking like he just crawled out of a ketamine rave, wearing a birdcage on his head and an attitude only a guy named Micolash could have. Phase 1, easy. Gotten stuck in a corner, trapped in a beautiful loop of despair. Just me, him, and a non-stop barrage of bitch slap to the face. Because honestly, fuck you, Micolash. Phase 2, didn't even break a sweat. I pulled out my trusty poison knives, sat back, and watched his health bar melt like it was ice in the desert. The man started panicking because his mom came to wake him up for school, and he just couldn't deal with it. Next up was Murgo's wet nurse, who, fun fact, has a shit ton of health. Seriously, I felt like I was trying to knock out a whale with a pool noodle. My fire damage was putting in negative work. At this point, I'm pretty sure I was heating her up for winter. But honestly, she's not even that threatening. She doesn't hit very hard and her moves have more openings than a Skyrim dungeon, so the fight was more of a slow motion slapfest. Thanks to my enormous vitality chunk bar and the rally system, I could face tank her nonsense and regain health like I was sponsored by Estes. But here's the weird part. She never performed her shadow clone jutsu, never hit me with the nightmare fog phase, nothing. Just kinda stood there. So I kept swinging until she stopped existing. Before diving headfirst into the trauma pit that is the DLC, I did a little prep work. First off, I dropped some fat stacks at the Bath Merchants and finally bought a Blood Rock, and achieved its final meat slapper form. Swapped out some gems, optimized for maximum pain output, and then decided it was time to pay our good buddy Gilbert a visit. Just walked up and delivered the smoke for that sweet clawmark rune, so my visceral could actually do more than just tickle. With my setup complete and ego inflated, I made a fool out of Ludwig. I paid another visit to Santa Claus, and this time I brought the gift. It had been a hot minute since I last fought this guy, so I was basically going in blind. No idea what the timings were, no clue what his moves did, just vibes and vitality. But guess what? That's all that mattered. I simply powered through like a brick wall with a dream. Towards the end, jolly old grandpa started spamming his flying combos like he forgot what game he was in, which left him wide open, flailing around like a drunk goose in a sword museum. I capitalized, hard, and down he went. And what did I get for my troubles? A very fancy crown, because yes, I am a beautiful princess and I deserve to feel pretty after slapping an old guy in the face. Then I took a moment to simp for me lady, because let's be clear, she ain't no cheap dollar whore. Finally, after all this time, all the pain, all the Molotovs thrown in petty rage, I could at last reunite with my people. The living failures. My beautiful, flailing, half-baked brethren. United in purpose, divided in brain cells. The fight was mostly chill. Sure, I nearly died once, but that was more of a my bad situation. It was the only moment of actual danger. I was still rocking my plus 10 saw cleaver, loaded up with some random ass gems I found behind the dumpsters. And yet, even with garbage tier DPS, the DLC bosses were turning out to be cakewalks. Sorry boys, but it's time for me to go back simping. Oh Lady Maria, my gothic queen, my blade slinging heartbreak, my reason for respecking into emotional damage. But why? Why, I wonder, Miyazaki? Why did you give her boots? How am I supposed to respectfully objectify respectfully now? I needed barefoot violence. 0 out of 10 boss. Too powerful, too graceful, too booted. I cracked open the passage to the fishing hamlet. Took a quick detour to farm the lantern dudes near Kos's boss room, slotted those bad boys into my saw cleaver, turned it into a slightly shinier butter knife of destruction, and I was ready. Ready for the final screech. Ready for the screaming newborn calamity himself. Ready for Orphan of Kos. And I died. And died some more. That ass though. Obviously my damage sucked ass and it made this fight more tedious than any previous boss we had to deal with. So did I try to improve it somehow? No. Didn't care. I just ate his placenta based attacks like a mommy chimpanzee. Parrying was a lifesaver honestly, as even with visceral damage being extremely bad, I could still regenerate my health with them. First phase had some pretty clutch moments, but it went well all things considered. Then second phase came up and punched me straight in the nuts as his damage drastically increases. Luckily, I was a punching bag with 99 vitality, slightly tickling him with my paper cutter. I ended up with 0 flask when he still had 1/4 of his health, but that's when I locked in. Wow, if only I played this way the entire time, huh? Now to the last DLC boss, our good friend Lawrence. And boy oh boy was it flaming hot, but an easy first try nonetheless. Again, bosses in Bloodborne just don't hit that hard. That, or I'm now forever traumatized from the Elden Ring DLC. For phase 1, the secret is to just stay as close to his crotch as you can. It ain't pretty, but it definitely works. Phase 2 gets a bit trickier as he starts shitting all over the place, and if you aren't careful like I did here, you'll get stuck on his lava and then squished like the booger under your chair in first grade. I also truly love when he starts throwing up and shitting at the same time. Honestly, I was playing so sloppy in this entire run, I wasn't going to change that now. So I just tanked all I could and played as aggressively as much as possible, chipping his health one swing at a time, and eventually the beast went down. I paid a visit to the Smurfs next, and they never stood a chance. Then I got to the Snail Queen with a vagina in place of its face, and I read online that a lot of people find this boss truly hard, but to me it has always been a cakewalk. And in this run, I could even tank the laser attacks. Barely, but still managed to survive them alright. Amy looked fresh as always, but at this point, her being a mid-game boss, her attacks were like getting hit by feathers. I finished the fight with a cool visceral and peaced out. To become the true John Bloodborne, I got the best outfit in the game and put on that bad boy to show my curves. I got the umbilical cords, and the same thing that I did to Amy happened to Parl. The fight lasted like literally seconds. Sort of like my best sexual performances.
Come on over here. Come on over here. No, you flip me off. Come on, coward. No. Come on. You're not an intellectual. You're a fake and a fraud.
And now I was finally ready to fight the final boss, Epstein himself, and entered his residence in Palm Beach. Well, as you can see guys, vitality is just completely broken in this game, and if you invest in some damage, it truly breaks nearly every fight. Next time we're doing a no stamina run, so stay tuned for that. Alright guys, thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider leaving a like, subscribing, and comment down below what is the most broken stat in Bloodborne in your opinion. Alright guys, this is all I've got for today. Have a great weekend and I will see you next time.